Welcome to using an Excel table to create a genealogy research log. This is part 2, working in a spreadsheet. So we have a spreadsheet that we've worked on in video 1 of this series, and I just want to start off by showing you how you can maneuver on the spreadsheet. So one thing you can do is hover over a cell, and then if you click in it, you are able to enter information into that cell. You can also use your keyboard arrows that will maneuver you throughout the document. And keep in mind that if you're in a cell and then you hit return, it will always take you to the cell below it. If you're in a cell and you hit tab, it will always take you to the right of that cell. So sometimes if you're entering information, those two keys can be helpful as well. And you have your scroll bars here at the bottom and on the side. You can also, when it's time to enter information into a cell, if you click in that cell and then you start typing, it will override what is in that cell. So we want to undo that because we definitely don't want to lose that information. So if there's already information in a cell and we want to add to it, we need to double click on that cell. And once we've double clicked, we can see that our cursor is flashing, and that allows us to be able to add information to a cell. You can also click up here in the formula bar to see look up there to see what information is in a certain cell, or if you wanted to add information, you could do that as well from that bar. So we're going to start off with adding a source that we found for one of Robert's children, and it is a baptismal source that was found on Ancestry.com. So I'm going to scroll this up just a bit. And we have this pulled up behind us here. And you can see that this is a Wisconsin birth and christening index for Margaret Carney. And this is a baptismal record or index. And it gives them very valuable information: her name, that she's female, her birth date, her baptismal date, where she was baptized, and her parents' names. And another very valuable piece of information is the Family History Library film number. This is where we could go to actually look up that film and get the actual copy or a more original copy of this index, this indexed information. It's very important that we don't rely on indexes alone for our research. So let's go ahead and add this information for Margaret. So we're going to scroll it up a bit so we can see it a little bit better as we're entering our information, so that we have two things open at a time. And we're going to come down here to the next available row, and we're going to enter the date, which is 23 February 2019. And I've adjusted this so that it puts everything in a genealogical type date format. This row is our person event or event person column. So we're going to enter baptism. Oops. And for Margaret Carney. And I have already gathered the citation for this. So I'm going to click on my cell here that has the citation, and I can either copy it from that cell, or I also wanted to show you can always copy from the formula bar. So I'm going to copy that with my shortcuts. I'm going to come to the cell and paste it in. Now you can see that some of the information is missing. It's actually there. I will show you later how you can fix that. So we start typing Ancestry.com, that's where we found it, and we're going to click on that. And then we want to add the information from the index. So what we're going to do is go back to Ancestry, And we're going to, we want to snag it all, get all of the information. We're going to highlight it with a left click and a drag. Then we're going to copy it with our shortcuts, or we can use this function right here where we right click and then we can copy. And then we'll come over here and we can left click again and paste. And it keeps it in a really nice, neat format for us here. Then the year that Margaret was born is 1865. We're going to skip the document number for now. And then we want to write notes. So we want to remind ourselves that we want to leave a note. And if you'll notice, I have some autofill information, coming up. So if this were something I wanted to repeat, I could just snag that right there. But we're going to type something different, so I keep typing. And we want to just remind ourselves to look up Margaret's baptismal record at the Family History Library. So then I wanted to show you how we can fix this. Sometimes the cell rows may get formatted differently than we want, and so you can come over here to this format box. If we click on that and fit and click auto fit, so let me show you that again, auto fit row height, it will make it so everything lines up and you can see everything entered into the cell. So I also wanted to show you how to align information that is in your boxes, your cells. So here we have the information, and if you look up at these bars, this is left justified. We could center everything, or we could right justify it. I like the way everything looks left justified for the most part, but if we wanted to, we could center, let's say, let me show you how we could center our repository comments. If we click on the top bar here, it will highlight the whole row, and we would just center or left justify or right justify and left justify. We could also align it top, middle, or bottom of the cell. So here's at the top, here's at the middle, and here is at the bottom. I didn't understand this when I first started, so I've gotten used to everything being justified to the bottom of the cell for the most part. But you can do it any way you would like. So there's another really important feature. If you can see this cell, everything is lined up very nice and neat. If you, let's just go to an empty cell, and if you type and you want to go to a new line and you hit return, it just takes you to the next cell below it. So you need to know this function if you want to add a new line. On a Mac, you're going to do Option Command Return, and that will add a new line into the cell. If you're on a PC, you're going to do Alt Return in order to get your a new line into your cell. That's a really important, that's how I lined everything up so nice and neat in this cell right here. Otherwise, it would have just been all jumbled together. So if there's something in a cell and you really don't want it to be there, all you need to do is click on it, click on the cell, and hit delete. And then always remember your undo button. I really don't want to delete that, so I'm hitting undo, and that will get my information back. Remember that when you click on a cell and you've only clicked in it once and you start typing, it overrides the information. So we're going to undo that as well. And remember that a double click lets you enter more information into that cell. When you want to undo something, also remember your keyboard shortcuts of Command Z on a Mac or Control Z on a PC. Now let's go to this note right here. Let's just say I want to highlight this so that I can remember that this is something important that I want to do. So if I click in that cell and then I come up here to my fill buttons, I can add a color of something that will remind me that this is an important item that I want to add in the future, or that I want to look up in the future, or to bring to my attention in some other way. If you wanted to add borders, this would be your border button right here. So that's all I have for this portion of the video. Join me for the next video where I will teach you how to make a table. Thank you.